Hey guys, welcome to Lucky Lotus. My name is Brijesh.
I'm Jimmy. Thanks for tuning in. You can find us on X, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Patreon. What am I missing? TikTok?
You got that. You already said
Instagram.
Apple, Spotify. I guess Rumble now. Too.
Yep, wherever you find podcasts. We've got a special guest this week. We've got Melvin Burgess on, running for the mayoral candidate of Memphis. We really appreciate you coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
So how did you find Brijesh? I heard this was a funny story of how you made it onto the podcast and whatnot.
Yeah, well, let's kind of take some steps backwards. So I'm running for Shelby County mayor, not the Memphis mayor. So I've been in the restaurant several times because prior to when I met him this last time we've had I attended several fundraisers that elected officials have had at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And Jeff Warren, a good friend, I think your father's.
Yeah.
And I went to Jeff and I asked him, hey, where can I put a sign up? So he said, you can put one up at the Indian restaurant.
Yes, sir.
So I think when I was finna put the sign up, it was some trash in the front.
Yeah.
So what I did, I came in and said, I introduced myself, and then he introduced himself. Was that your brother?
Yeah, it was my brother. Looks just like me.
So we shook hands, and I told him who I was. He said, oh, man, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And we continued to put the sign, and they came. We came back in. I told him to thank him. And he said, "Look, would you like to be on my podcast?" I said, "Of course." So that's how I got here.
Yeah, no, I was not expecting him to say yes, which we were very happy that he did. No, it was just. I guess there's a lot of feelings I have about the mayoral race coming up, the Shelby County mayoral race. Sure. And it was just having the opportunity to talk to somebody and have all the discussions about some of the aspects that I want Shelby County to do better. But whatever it is, thank you for taking your time out of the day, because I know you, before we started recording, you were telling us how busy you are. You're already doing events. You're already going out just everywhere. So it's the fact that you took time to come sit down with us and to listen to what we have to say. Well, we appreciate that.
It's perfect timing. I just live right around the corner, and I was telling Jimmy that this development, of course, I built a home over here in 92 right behind Echo, and Gil Calloway, who was one of the developers in our neighborhood, who lived on my street, he was putting this subdivision in. He had a lot of pushback. So I went down to the city council and fought to make sure that this thing happened.
So Gil was an amazing contractor. He took care of everything when it comes to the house. First of all, we're in a historic district. I don't want to give away too many places where we're at.
They have a thing online where you get doxxed or swatted, and that's a real thing.
But at the same time, it's still being in Midtown. You only have so many choices especially when it comes to new development, you can do, what you can't do.
That's right.
The fact that this subdivision was converted was amazing, because this used to be nothing.
That's right.
Yeah, it was just someone's backyard. So I can't believe they sold it.
That's right.
But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for our house.
No problem. Thank you.
I know you're running for mayor. What would you think the top 3 ticket issues you would want people to know you stand for or stand against?
Well, first of all, I'm bringing bold leadership. And the elephant in the room, in this room right now, of course, is crime. Now, even though, by me being the county mayor, I don't have a police department, but I know I can collaborate with the sheriff. The sheriff he's an elected just like I am. The second thing is economic development, right? Yes, and the third thing is, good education. A great education. We all want those 3 things, no matter where you live.
Yes, sir.
And whether you live in East Memphis, South Memphis, North Memphis, we all want the same things. We want safe neighborhoods. We want good schools for our kids, and we want safe neighborhoods. We all want the same things.
No, I mean, we can attest. Growing up, we had a great high school we went to. We had a safe neighborhood. We had just about every this is I think the past very recently things have started shifting in a negative way. But for us, the way we grew up, Shelby County has done a lot for us. Sure. And I guess one of the questions I would want to ask is, there's a lot of talent here. What would be some of the reasons you would give for us to stay in Memphis and not go out to a different city?
That's a good question, because I have 2 daughters who finished Spelman College in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
And my oldest daughter she finished Phi Beta Kappa, got a Fulbright scholarship to Columbia, New York, and guess what? She resides in New York.
Yeah.
Right? She went and taught with a Fulbright. She went and taught over in Morocco, taught English.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter. So she decided to stay in New York. She's chief of staff for a company called the African American Institute.
Yes, sir.
And I got a young daughter, praise God, she just got off the payroll, who finished Spelman, and she lives in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
So she's still trying to do her thing, job search a little bit, because she just finished college.
Yes,
so
sir.
That's a hard thing that I talk about on the campaign trail of how do we keep our knowledge economy to come back here?
Yes, sir.
So what do we offer them? right? I mean, do we offer them affordable housing? I mean, do we offer them? Because when I came into this neighborhood, when I built my home, believe it or not, I was 28 years old, me and my wife, when we did this venue, right?
Yeah.
Very difficult now to do.
100%.
Right? And now most of the kids now, they're not looking to buy new homes, they're looking to live in apartments. But how do we keep, when you talk about the jobs, like AXI coming here, when the jobs do come here, is our economy or are our students aligned to do those jobs?
Yes, sir.
Of course, some of the jobs are STEMs related. And of course, they said most of the jobs that were brought down here, with this new AXI, they've already taken, and they're probably so specialized.
Yes, sir.
I
think I read somewhere where XAI was coming, they're offering so many jobs, and it was just to me, it was just like, okay, I understand you're giving these jobs, but like, are these jobs not already taken? Like, there's no way. Like, are you offering these jobs to us?
I think the high power jobs are already taken. They're doing them jobs from home.
But regardless, we still need good education here. We still need,
That's what's going to make your city. Until we invest in our students, until we invest in our neighborhoods as both city council and county commission, you'll get the same results.
Yes, sir.
When I grew up here, I had a luxury to leave. It's not a luxury to leave, but my parents were divorced.
Yes,
and
sir.
my mom took a principal's job up in Denver, Colorado in the 70s.
Yes, sir.
So we left here. I was going to the 7th grade. I was part of the first busing class, believe it or not, out to Wooddale Junior High.
Yeah.
So I was bused to go to school. I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning because back then, parents felt that we wanted the same that everybody else had.
Yeah.
And I think it really hurt us because we moved out of our neighborhoods to come out east.
Yes,
so
sir.
it left our neighborhoods like you see them now.
Yes,
Some
sir.
neighborhoods, the houses have been torn down, the businesses, all the above.
Yes, sir. It's, it's not hard. Blight around Memphis is really easy to see. And it's just, to me, it just breaks my heart because there's a lot of entrepreneurship here. A lot of people that do want to have businesses, but it comes down to the safety as well.
Yep.
There's, again, my dad coming here to Memphis wasn't like he had a college degree or started a business and is doing well now, but it's just, I feel like the opportunities are starting, and maybe it's not even Memphis's fault, but I just feel like the opportunities are starting to dry up for actual good paying jobs, in my opinion.
Well, I know, like when I talk to, of course, when you cross Highland, the city is divided. It's a difference going east to Highland than coming Highland going west.
Yes, sir.
It looks totally different.
Yes, sir.
Right, and you can see the difference.
Yes, sir.
Well, economic development is not prevalent in our city unless it's St. Jude. It's probably the only crane you will see because a lot of developers don't want to invest in a place where there's high crime.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, for instance, like that project over in Crosstown Concourse, that was my project when I was on the county commission.
Fantastic project.
But look what it has done.
Yes, sir.
To the neighborhood, Evergreen, Central Gardens. It does once your neighborhood. So, putting development in some of these areas that are distressed.
Yes, sir.
That's the way to go. But a lot of people just not investing right now.
There's just a fiscal. I'm sorry.
I was going to say for the Crosstown Concourse and it being redone, I assume that you have a very small list of, say, naysayers that said, why are you even doing this? Why don't you knock it down? Why don't you do this?
Well, if you know about the Crosstown Concourse, they have one in Atlanta, but it's like 3-4 times bigger than that. Theirs is more like a mall.
Okay.
In Atlanta. I think it's on Pontchartrain, the name of the street, because my oldest daughter didn't live walking distance from it. But theirs was more of a mall, like a sofa store, big time clothing stores. So it was a totally different feel. But if you want any kind of movement in any area, you have to put something there that's going to attract homeowners.
Yes,
I mean, look what it's done to going north downtown. Look how they fixed the homes up on North Parkway.
Yeah.
It makes a difference when you develop.
Yes, sir.
In some of these neighborhoods where it's walking distance.
I think that project alone single-handedly increased the actual price, like not the like value of the homes, and like everything around it too. It brought a lot of
A lot.
Yeah, it just brought a lot of prosperity to Memphis. Just that one single project.
Just that one, but you two, you're probably too young to remember this. It used to be Sears and Roebuck.
I remember that. I do remember.
Yeah.
I was younger, but it was.
And I remember as a kid, you walk in there and your parents already had your stuff already ordered in a big catalog book. The first thing you smell in there was the popcorn.
Yeah.
This popcorn was made fresh. It wasn't like in bags like you see in cinemas now. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No.
What do you think, like being the assessor now, I feel like a lot of people's first experience with you in Memphis or Shelby County is they get a letter that's got your face on it, you're smiling, and it says, a lot of people say, my taxes are going up. When I got mine this year, I will say it was very good on the inside. It told me exactly what they were going for, and then I was like, well, what questions do I have? Now I know where everything's going.
That's right.
But you hear a lot of people say, like, well, my roads are like this, my schools are like this. What's the money going to? What would you say to those people?
Well, first of all, Jimmy, I think the problem that we have as electeds is that we do not explain to the constituents how the system works. Everybody think I go up on your taxes. That's not me.
Right.
All I do is assess the property, and the property is assessed at market value. And I'm sure if you own property, Jimmy, I know you do. I bet you get a call 2-3 times a week asking if you want to sell your property.
Yep, that's
right.
right.
It's a reason why.
Please stop calling.
Yeah, because the market value now is high. So what we don't do, and one thing I do on the campaign trail, until we as elected officials roll our sleeves up, right, and teach and educate. I go with the 3 E's. The 3 E's are explain, educate, and empower. But until we do those 3 things, Jimmy, we will never understand how the system works. We will never, even though when you do, it's unfortunate that the state of Tennessee, the only way it can run this municipality is by way of property taxes.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you're an investor, or even us here talking today, it's easier for you to not invest your money, but play with your money when you got other money set aside. So we don't pay a state tax in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Well, Mississippi pays a state tax. Other cities pay state tax. So
Right.
they got money to invest to build the coffers up.
Yes.
Where we're still looking, or we still putting the pressure on the residential to take us through. Then you actually have to question, does everybody pay their fair share of taxes?
That's right.
You see, does everybody pay that, right? But what do? We let companies come in here like Electrolux. We give them a pilot. They walk away owing us $37 million.
Yeah.
You pay your taxes. So is that fair to the average tax, the homeowner who pays their tax? We don't abate their taxes.
Yes, sir.
We have a total of 352 pilots. Yes, that means payment in lieu of taxes. That means you have come here, and I'm gonna give you like maybe a 10 to 15 years, so you ain't got to pay your tax in 10 to 15 years. We're gonna abate your taxes for you.
Sir.
So what are you gonna bring us? You're gonna bring jobs? Well, Electrolux said they brought jobs, but guess what? We found at the end of the day, the jobs that they brought were through a temp service. So
Yeah.
didn't nobody hold them accountable to what it really should mean. It's not fair.
Yes,
it's
sir.
not fair to the people who do pay their taxes, versus the ones they get away. And it's like, so when we collect tax, when the trustee collects her taxes, she's the banker for the county, Regina Newman, right? We have to cut off the top $50 million for pilots.
Yes, sir.
$50 million.
That is, I did not
We can
know.
do a lot with that. $50 million.
I feel very educated
promise
now
you.
to talk
That
to someone.
I did
and
not-
talk-
$50 million.
That's so much better than reading, like, what is it, those Facebook or whatever. Having somebody who knows what they're talking about here is a lot.
Do you know
a
how
lot
many
better.
pilots Nashville has?
No.
12.
How did that happen? How does Memphis have so many then?
Well, I mean, you can look at
sounds
Nashville.
sounds like
Everybody-
we need a better
Yeah,
negotiator.
look, everybody that's living in Nashville now, you know where they're coming from? California,
Yeah.
Los Angeles, San
Yeah.
Francisco. It's starting to be like almost the New York of the South.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's going to Nashville. The only problem Nashville having is the infrastructure problem.
Yes, sir.
People going in and coming out because it's hell
Yes,
getting
sir.
in and getting out of Nashville.
No, I think when I was growing up, the closest comparison was Atlanta and Memphis were like at one point we're like neck and neck. That one of these cities could take off and be the bigger city. And I'm guessing I'm kind of happy right now. We haven't reached Atlanta's or like Nashville portion just because the traffic alone is nightmarish. And I guess it gives us time to like lay down like correct infrastructure to actually get everything ready.
But just time is over. Both of my girls went to school in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it would never compete because Atlanta has the top schools in the country.
Yeah.
They have Georgia Tech. I just talked
Yeah.
about my daughter's school, Spelman, Morehouse, Georgia State, Emory. So
Yeah, that's
companies
kinda-
go where
Just talent.
it's education. What you got? Home Depot, you got American Express, Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
you got National Cash Register. So all of and when you go around, like even today, you see some coming up. Why? They have gotten investors out of the country to invest in because they see it's growing.
Yes, sir.
You go as an investor where it's growing. They're not local people. They're investors from the outside.
No, that makes sense. Like, and what's really crazy is that you were talking about California, so people from outside coming to Nashville or like Atlanta. Here in Memphis, my dad was talking to me about there are so many properties here owned not by Memphians but by other outside investors, and I just feel like that's a wrong way to like look at it. Like, if you're going to have investors, it shouldn't be people who just buy up cheaper houses so it makes the other person rent. Like, does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like why would somebody from California own about 6 or 7 duplexes? Charge you like you see what I'm saying?
They are called hedge fund investors.
Yeah, that's
what they're called. But when I was in 2019, I tried to put a halt on that. Investors coming in, taking up all the inventory because some of the realtors complained about it too. So when I do the reappraisal, you have a chance to appeal it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who have the most appeals? These investors.
Yeah.
Because they're buying them all up. And the sad part about it is,
Can
we tried to fix it.
Yes, sir.
But matter of fact, I put a moratorium on investors coming in Orange Mound. I couldn't hold a line,
Yes, sir.
because it was against the law.
Yes, sir.
Until we can come up with a solution, right? So this is my thing. How come we can't get together as elected officials,
Yeah.
right, and figure out how does that work, right?
Yeah.
And I think if we get together, not just that, did you know that the county government owns over 6,000 properties in the land bank because the people didn't pay their taxes?
I didn't. That is.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Isn't it correct that if you don't pay your taxes and it remains vacant, like the Steric building, it keeps accumulating, and then
right.
to acquire that property and develop it, you have to pay off those
You
back
have to pay off
taxes?
those back taxes. So what happens is whoever the developer will come in to try to do that, of course, they'll try to cut a deal with the negotiation as far as trying to put it together. Like the 100 North Main building. They try to do something with that.
Yeah.
Where you see that it's kind of at a standstill.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say it's not a good deal.
Just because of all the backlog taxes.
Not just that, but they don't think it's just a good deal. I can't tell you what some of the other reasons are.
They want to sit out too and wait to see if the interest rates drop too before
That's
they say
part of
they
it
put
too.
their whole foot
And then
in it.
too, when you're a developer, of course, the city, you want to get money from the city.
Yes, sir.
To try to, because you don't want to use your own money as a developer, and as a businessman, and you're a businessman, who wants to use their own money in times like
No, you want that cushion. You were talking about having that little safe just space.
Of course.
Because starting a business is not easy, no matter what business you start. And if you can have a little bit of revenue behind you, backing you up, cushioning you, and that's fantastic.
My parents had a fish business. We had a fish business for like 15 years, so we know, how it works and the population. And just unfortunate where we had our fish business in South Memphis, we depended upon the EBT customer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
And once they took that out of the neighborhood, guess what? Our business went down. We didn't have that.
And that's heartbreaking. I think the closest thing we experienced during COVID, when restaurants, you can't go in and eat. I've never seen a fear of God in my dad's eyes until then. I'm happy the city allowed us to do takeout and everything, but it's just when you see what you built for so long and how much effort and time you put into it, just crumble. Not because of your choices, not even because of what you did.
I understand what you're talking about.
That sucks. I mean, we're lucky we're here. Like everything's good. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. But
on a lighter note, what is your favorite thing about the Shelby County, Memphis area?
The people. I like the people, and I love where I live. I like the atmosphere where I live. I've always been a city guy. Even when I lived in Denver, I lived in the city. I didn't live in the suburbs. I always liked the feel of a downtown.
Yes, sir.
The different festivals and just the feel of downtown. Even when I first moved back here, I stayed over close near Central High School, across the street in those apartments. So I've always been kind of like a downtown person.
Yes, sir.
We used to ride bike. I'm an avid bike rider now. Okay, I'm not with those high, like grit and grind guys. But
I've seen
I
them.
ride those. Matter of fact, they rode in Atlanta last weekend.
Yeah.
They rode a thing in Atlanta last weekend.
Yes, sir.
But I'm an avid bike rider. Matter of fact, I'm riding a bike ride on Sunday out at Shelby Forest with Clark. You know Clark Butcher that owns Victory Bicycle over on Broad?
I do.
Yeah, I'm riding with him.
That's awesome.
He rides on
That's
Sundays.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then I guess like even Shelby Forest, Shelby Farms, they're like beautiful venues that we have too. It's just, I love that. It's just what makes the city are the culture. It's the festivals. It's the different events that we can have. And Memphis has a lot of passion, a lot of spirit to it. I just feel like,
But keep that. Let's flip this around. So I work at that Shelby Farm across the street from the Pintle Farm. So they got the nice lake. You go around the lake. Oh, really? Everybody exercising. But guess what? When I was on the county commission, if you lived over there by Everybody's Community Center, you can't do that. You know why? Because the older people are scared to walk around the park because of the crime and just the feel, right? When I was on the county commission, I went to the sheriff, which was Bill Oldham at the time. He used to work for my dad. I said, look, can you give me 2 days a week to call it a safe zone where the Shelby County sheriff would be present while they're walking? Who wants that? Is that fair?
Yeah.
yeah.
Just the basics.
Yes, sir.
But if you live out in East Memphis or you live over that way, ain't nobody posted up, no police over there watching you like that.
Sir, say God willing, you get elected. What would you do about crime? How can you impact or like reduce the rates? Because I know there's a couple of things that Memphis has that aren't going great for us. That we report every single crime that we have, so that kind of skews the statistics. Not saying that you shouldn't report everything, but Nashville doesn't have it. Any major city doesn't have it, and I feel like it ends up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy too.
Sure. So a lot of it, I can't give you a percentage, but some of it's poverty, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and as the Shelby County mayor, all I can do is offer a collaboration with the sheriff, collaboration with because I don't oversee a police department. They don't report to me.
Yes, sir.
Or I can collaborate with the city mayor, Paul Young, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, check this out. You had two mayors, one named Brandon Scott,
Yes, sir.
up in Baltimore, Maryland, right? His crime was reduced by 42%. You know what he did?
What did he do?
He invested in distressed neighborhoods.
Yes, sir.
He invested in the kids, and he invested in activities for those kids. His crime went down.
Yes, sir.
Look at Randall Woodfin in Birmingham. They did the same thing.
Yes, sir.
How much did we invest with both of our governments? Nothing.
Even Memphis Rocks, you heard about, like, that's all we have. And it's just like, why can't we expand that?
We have to invest.
Yeah.
We have to invest. And they got, like, the chamber has a really good workforce program to where companies will go to, like, some of these high schools and some of these colleges. And it's a workforce development program where, okay, what do you do? Like, you're in the restaurant business.
Yes, sir.
Maybe teaching kids, hey, you want to be in the restaurant business? Sure, we can show you how you can do that.
Yes, sir.
And we got to give back, or we got to invest in our kids. You don't invest in your kids, you're going to get the same results. And that's what we're getting now. And sometimes we got to even go further than that. We need to start investing in these younger kids with universal pre-K. Start with that age and then work our way up. Because let's just be real. Some of these kids who are, you can't tell them what to do anymore.
No, you can't.
Right? So until we get serious and invest, in our neighborhoods and these programs. When I was growing up here, we had public swimming pools. We had things to do.
And here's the thing, we're talking about the younger generation. Of course, you can't tell them anything to do, but I feel like if you put enough, their whole focus and mindset's so different than what we had when we were growing up. I could never imagine if I ever talked back to my parents, it's over. You're done.
Because you know why it's like that? They got different parents now.
Yep.
Yeah.
They parents not our parents.
Yeah.
Right? When you was growing up, and Jimmy, when you were growing up, you knew in your household how important education was.
Yes, sir.
And going to college. That's no more.
It wasn't a question.
It's not like that. It's not like that. I just wish that I mentor over at Mace Academy down on Poplar and over at Kip Academy over here in North Memphis.
Yes,
and I sit there and talk and listen to some of those kids. And you know what? Those kids want the same thing our kids want.
Yes, sir.
They want to live in a safe neighborhood. They want to go places where they won't get shot.
Yes,
they
sir.
have the same passion, just like any other kids.
No, and it's just like the opportunity is not there, or the resources are not there for them to express that.
Well,
passion.
guess what, Brijesh? That's our fault. That's what elected officials' fault. It's elected officials' fault.
Yes, sir.
We don't roll our sleeves up to do the work. I say me too. I'm not gonna just call anybody out, but we don't. We take the jobs and we don't do. We don't hold people accountable. I'm not gonna I ain't gonna come on this show and just tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you the truth. That's what makes me different. My leadership is bold and I'm transparent. I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear.
The truth is the best medicine ever.
My dad taught me that.
Yes, sir. And it's hard to find an honest politician. If I'm gonna be honest with you.
Not. I mean, to make a difference, you got to do the work. Just like you're doing the work with your podcast, getting this out. If you don't want to do the work, why do it?
No, and I feel like from just talking to you, there's a lot of love behind what you're saying too.
It's passion, and
yes, sir.
It's because I want to see a change. I mean, I didn't grow up my full time here, but I see what Just a good example. I did a backpack giveaway Saturday over at Southland Mall.
Yes, sir.
Right? It was from 10 to 1, and when we got there at 8 o'clock to set up, a lady and 4 of her kids were there who caught the bus there, waiting on us to get there.
Yes, sir.
Right? So while we were having it, another young lady comes up. She had 6 kids, and she was carrying one.
Yes, sir.
Who needed supplies. Her car, she had to wait for somebody to come get her. Her car had went out. Her car overheated. I see a lot of these young, man, my favorite store is Cat Savers on Madison.
Yes, sir.
And it's a different ball game. So how do we solve just, providing Shelby County, just the basics? It's not hard to provide the basics.
No, it isn't. It just takes a time and investment, and you can see that there's already I'm not saying there's so little here, but it just feels like everyone just grabs it and takes it and keeps it to themselves.
But just everybody has to work together.
Yeah.
It has to be a leader and it has to be followers.
Here, it's like almost like a drought mentality where it's like I have to go get it and then keep it to myself. And it's like then you see why the community breaks apart. Then you see why nothing. Because if you're just holding everything for yourself and not giving, what's the point of a community if you're not going to have relationships with one another?
Well, I heard you earlier. I think Jimmy talked about, or one of y'all talked about jobs. When I was on the county commission, right? How you gonna get to work and our matter system is screwed up?
Yeah.
Even though it is even though it's on the city side, right?
Yes,
and as the county mayor, I will go down to the state. I have a great relationship. I was the assessor of the year for the entire state out of 95 counties.
Yes, sir.
And it's just 2 African Americans, me and a girl in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Right? And the reason was because I told my team, think outside the box,
Yes,
be
sir.
innovative, right? One of my constituents live in New Chicago, where they were talking about putting in jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
She said, Mr. Burke, Commissioner, she said, I can't even catch the bus to go get my groceries. I said, well, what's going on? She said, first of all, I got to catch 3 or 4 buses just to get one place. She said, if I buy some ice cream or something cold, she said, by the time I get home, it's melted.
Yes,
just
sir.
provide that. Wow, I mean,
And how much would that cost, in your opinion? How much would that really cost to just have?
I can't answer that
He's
one.
gonna pull.
No,
that
I'm
exact
sorry,
stat
but
out of his
it's just
head.
because we had
We talked extensively about Meta and what it's shown that they spent their money on, and then we come to find out that it was $30,000 to fix the trolleys, not the millions of dollars that were quoted in the news, and that was a big topic that we talked
yeah,
about.
and it was the previous lady who was I forgot her name. I'm so sorry.
But the board was, most of the people have resigned, and now they're auditing
saw
the
that,
books,
yeah.
and it's all coming out.
and
now-
she was spending money on a Mont Blanc. I remember
A Mont Blanc
yeah,
pen.
Mont
She
Blanc
got
pen,
$1,000 pen, massages.
massages,
a grizzly
gave
suite.
yeah, and
But but why did it take so long? Well, I'm an accountant by trade. I retired from the school district as chief internal auditor from the school district.
Yes, sir.
So I'm an accountant and auditor, all that by trade. But my thing would be as well, if you got auditors on your staff, why did it take this long?
Yeah, that's right.
you're asking the right questions.
You know,
It's,
that was my thing. But who suffers though? The
Yes,
people
sir.
that suffer are the people who don't have the cars. But why not go to other cities and see what they're doing
Yes, sir.
and bring it back?
Yes, sir.
I had a meeting with it didn't ever happen because he's running for office. Randall Woodfin. I wanted to pick his brain. Or what did you do to bring your crime down?
Yes,
What
sir.
program did you offer?
Yes,
When
sir.
you went in, they did like supervised block parties.
Yeah.
But in the block parties, they had stuff like maybe like after school care or something that's giving back. Well, tell me what your problem is. Well, my kid ain't in school. Give me the kid's name. You got people out there in the community say, hey, look, tell me what I can do to
sir.
help you. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your MGW bill.
Yes, sir.
It's just until we fix that, the thriving city that we're trying to be, it's not going to work.
Let me, as an accountant, what's something that you're going to bring to Memphis, or what's something you're going to bring to Shelby County, and what's something you would take away that previous administrations might have focused on?
Accountability. That is everybody got to be held accountable. Everybody's going to be on my team. Day one, I am talking about what are you going to do to help me reach my goals. One of my goals, you probably don't know this, when we did that Orange Mound revitalization, when I came on in 2019,
Yes, sir.
it's featured in a magazine in New York Times.
Yes, sir.
Because they charted it after Harlem, New York. If you know anything about Orange Mound, my wife's from Orange Mound. Jimmy might know about Orange Mound. It was like one
Three
of
up,
the
two
first,
down.
Yeah.
one of the first black-owned. Well, back in the day, the slave owner over the plantation gave the property back to the slaves.
Yes, sir.
And they set the community up. They had doctors, lawyers, whatever you wanted was right
Yeah.
there, right? So I mean, it's historic,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So we went in trying to put it back on its feet. It was working really good, and we still got a little hold to it. But my thing is, how do we get these communities back?
Yes, sir.
To where they used to be, right?
Yes, sir.
When you moved in your neighborhood, where you living now, what's the first thing you thought about? Well, safety.
Safety.
That's
yes,
right.
The school.
Yes, sir.
Because all my kids went down to school down the way and then they went over here,
Yes, sir.
the central. So those are things, the basics that people want. So why we can't bring those
Yeah.
basics to some of those neighborhoods?
And it's not unreasonable. You have people like now the Trump administration. They're talking about sending federal forces to to Chicago. We're talking about Memphis, and it's like
Baltimore,
okay, Baltimore, and
New
it's
Orleans.
like it's like okay,
That's political.
That's
political.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We don't
Because
okay.
it's all the blue states.
It is all the blue states.
We can talk about it. I don't
No.
care.
But to me, it's kind of frustrating. To me, it's frustrating because it's even in DC. We're talking about Trump and his mandate to have federal force or what is it to have National Guard show up in places like Baltimore, Chicago, even in DC. They weren't going after the places that were actually had high crime. They were all in the rich, secluded areas, and it made no sense. So like, this is just a show of force is what it really is. You're not actually going and helping. Sure. I think who wouldn't want more, like what you said, more safety.
That's right.
In these regions, but it's like you can tell, like no, they're just protecting the gated communities.
That's right.
That's
right.
Or he spoke about it earlier. Do you want to walk through a park where there is people with full military gear and an M16 and you're calling it safe?
Yeah.
No one wants that.
And you know what? I heard also that their presence has brought down restaurants, their revenue, because people don't want that.
Yeah.
And the restaurant owners are complaining about their presence in
sir.
D.C.
And I just think every community wants safety, of course, but they don't want a military force.
No, I don't think so. I know I wouldn't want that.
It just sends the wrong message that it's not.
That's right.
That it's I don't want to say it, like a failed state almost.
That's right.
And
That's right.
Like it's just like we're going against what we're trying to do here. You're talking about actually building from the ground up a community where everyone's like looking out for one another. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. That what you said about the mothers showing up even before you had the backpacks open or the backpack run open, and that's heartbreaking. Like you have to take 3-4 MATA buses there. Like why don't we have more direct lines? Like why can't we do the small things correctly and how much of a big impact that can have? Because it's, I mean, XAI, that's great, it's coming in, but we don't need huge like XAIs or companies coming. Let's just get the basics correct first.
Let's get the basics. Now I'm all for the money, helping
yeah.
these neighborhoods. But,
Yeah.
but the main thing would be is when the money does come. Of course, I'm all about the air quality.
Yes,
but
sir.
when the money does come, what kind of plan do we have to get those monies back to those neighborhoods? What's the plan? The plan shouldn't just be I'm gonna give it to Jimmy in construction.
Right.
The plan's not gonna be I'm just gonna give it to you, or who else are we gonna give? Who we gonna give a chance to?
Yes, sir.
To build those communities back up, and where's it gonna go?
I have a question that's highly political for
Sure.
the city of Memphis, and
Sure.
it's about building public works for people so they have something to do, like we were talking about with swimming pools. Where is that balance between what I would consider, like, say, they renovated Tom Lee Park? I think it's getting close to like $70 million with the initial investment they put into it, the public and state funds, private funds. They have maintenance, a large maintenance budget. Where would you say you stand on like something like that?
Well, Jimmy, to me, they've been playing with that for so long, the Riverfront. They have been playing with that so long. And I'm starting to almost believe, I think we kind of said something off the record or before we came on, is that it's poor planning. We still have not figured out that Riverfront. We still have not, of course, Memphis in May, but we hadn't figured out restaurants or like they got, what is that? I used to go to concerts over there back in the day. You take the little tram over there.
The Mud Island Amphitheater.
Right?
Yes, sir.
What's the problem? I mean, what's the problem? I mean, who's making the decisions? Do our leaders go? Do y'all go to other cities and look and see how they do it, or you just come off the top of your head? Well, we're gonna do it this way. But look, ain't nobody going down there.
Is there any way you could put a timeline on them to have, or is it already contractually they're already bound?
Well, they got something already in play. They just spent more money.
Yes, sir.
So it's of course the big word you hear in any government. We're gonna do a study. That's the big word. We're gonna do a study, right?
Yes, sir.
But my thing is, look and see what other cities are doing, like the crime thing I talked about with Brandon Scott and Randall Wolfend.
Yes, sir.
Look, see how they did it. It's not hard to do that. It's not hard to see what the other people are doing, or how they fought, or why these cities are outdoing what we're doing here.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. It's because we're lazy. I don't know because we don't want to put the work in. I know
For some reason, it doesn't strike me as us being lazy, but it's corruption. I think that for me is what I can't steer away from that because it's crazy to think it's not laziness in my eyes that's going on here, but it seems like
you think it's less. Corruption's a strong word. You think it might be back deal room making, maybe something like that.
You're right.
Well, I can't. Well, I don't know anything about that.
But to me, it's just like. What you said, like, why is it taking so long to get Mud Island renovated? A lot of people would want that. A lot of people would want to go have concerts there. It's a great venue, great location. You can take the trolley across. I think everyone remembers when they were younger going to the Mud Island Museum and everything like that. We don't have that anymore.
Well, that's a city venue.
Yeah, well,
that river's a city venue. And then you got two counties. You got Shelby County, then you got the city, and of course, Memphis is a municipality just like Germantown, all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So. It's all about investors and making the right decisions, and which sometimes I question that the decision. Like right now, I know you're looking at the FedEx Forum, right? So
yes,
how
sir.
many other cities who have NBA teams? I mean, we're not a big market, right?
No. Right.
So I look at Nashville. I know I can't compare it,
yes,
but
sir.
guess what? They're already building a brand new stadium for the Titans to sit in already, right?
Yes,
and look what it's going to do to the surrounding areas when it comes to shops.
Yes, sir.
And the neighborhood, right? But
Real
right
estate
now,
value,
that's
property
right.
taxes.
Property. And did you know that as the assessor? Matter of fact, I got on the mayor, Shelby County mayor, because when he proposed his budget to the county commission, he actually went in and said that he cut the tax rate which was a lie.
Yes, sir.
So I got back on. I said, no, you did not do that. I said, when we do a
That's
real
such a
appraisal,
blatant lie.
yeah, when we did the real, when you do a real appraisal, when you do a real appraisal, the state sets your tax rate.
Yes, sir.
So what I got to do as the assessor, I show growth. Did you know if you show growth when you're talking about new neighborhoods, new subdivision, new whatever, it lowers the tax rate. The tax rate went from 339
Yes, sir.
to 269.33. So when you find new growth, when
Yes,
we
sir.
grow, it lowers your tax rate. So I had to let them know you didn't do that.
Yes,
My
sir.
office in the state did that. So don't say that,
Yeah.
mister.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta toot your own horn sometimes,
Yeah,
because if you
those are my
don't, someone else
employees.
won't.
Yes,
They
sir.
work hard to submit that information to the state.
No, and it's someone just just walking by takes the credit for it too. That's
No,
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
not about that. It's
No.
about just, once again, telling the people that don't fool the people.
Yeah.
Tell the people the truth. One thing about Melvin Burgess, I'm transparent.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be transparent.
What would you tell an up and coming business that's debating whether to like headquarter themselves? Same way that Memphis in May was thinking about moving to West Memphis, staying in Memphis, staying in Shelby County. What would you tell them to incentivize them? Like when you become mayor, not if. When you become mayor, what would you tell them you want Shelby County to look like in 4 years?
Just tell me, what can I do? What can I do to make you stay here? What incentives can I provide? But however, the incentives that I do provide, they have to be reasonable.
Yes, sir.
When I say reasonable, that I don't want to affect the average homeowner or the average person who don't have the resources to even go down there, to be able to go to, I guess whatever business you're talking about, to be able to buy or to shop, right? So what are we going to do to give to everybody? Everybody has to be a part of the pie,
Yes,
right?
sir.
I heard a guy talk about a piano. Notice on a piano, it has what? It has black and white keys.
Yes, sir.
It can't just play with black keys or not just white keys. It plays together in harmony.
Yes,
and that's how we have to live. We have to work together in order
Yes,
for
sir.
this thing to work.
No, it's you're taking a holistic look at it.
Sure.
And that's what you need in a leader. You're not picking favorites. You care about
Lord,
the
no.
entire county and what
No.
you want to do and how you want to benefit it.
Lord, no.
Because it's I'm also happy to say that within reason too, because these companies will take you for it.
Well, they know these developers. They know the assessor. They know me. They know who I am.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know them all. Who built the McLean? Who built these off of Cooper on both sides?
Yes, sir.
And I just come with the facts. I come with, the people that put me in this office. I have to answer to them too.
Yes, sir.
I just can't answer to one side who probably didn't even support me.
Yes, sir.
So you put me in for me to support you, and I'm gonna make it better for the people who put me in this office, and that's what I have to work for.
Yes, sir.
Now, I work for everybody, but of course, the people who support you and got you in this office, they have the worst of the worst problems.
And okay, I guess this is I don't know if we're going to leave this or not, but your first 100 days when you're in office, what are you trying to achieve? What can you realistically get done in those first 100?
Well, so first, what I would have to do, I would have to set up what you call a transition team.
Yes, sir.
The transition team would be some of my colleagues that I work with, or some of the business folks that I do know.
Yes, sir.
Because my major objective is going to be for the county is how do I bring back the oldest municipality?
Yes, sir.
Who has the oldest infrastructure, who have the highest crime,
Yes, sir.
right? Who have the poorest scores when it comes to education. How do I work with that municipality to put it back on its feet the way it used to be?
Yes, sir.
Right? And I know everybody, I work with Auditor, German, they all have issues too.
Yeah.
It's the same Kool-Aid with just a different flavor.
Yes,
Everybody
sir.
got different issues.
Yes, sir.
But without Memphis, so go everybody else.
Yes, sir.
You got to put back money in the oldest municipality to put it back on its feet.
Yes,
We got to blow fresh air back into it.
100%.
And if this team that I bring on, they're going to be qualified. If they ain't ready to be innovative and go to work, you can't stay. I got to find somebody else.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, that's the first domino. You take care of that.
That's it.
and
The transition team will make decisions, and we'll see where everybody. Like when I came out to the assessor's office, I told them what my plans were, and if that's not part of your goals, then you might need to find you somewhere else to go.
Yes, sir.
I think one thing that goes with this, like any government and being, a steward to the people, is accountability, like you said.
That's right.
But I find a lot of times, and Brijesh and I have had issues when we've reported something to the government and saying, hey, can you come and fix this code violation? There's a lack of urgency in Shelby County, or a lack of urgency in the city of Memphis.
Sure.
What would you do to increase urgency for citizen concerns?
Well, one good thing from our office, anybody can tell you call my office right now today, the assessor's office. I get so many calls because I invested in my call center. I invested by way
I've heard
of
that.
by way of I got an IT program to where I know how many calls come in, I know how many calls have been picked up, and I get a report every week on that.
Yes, sir.
And if I see that you're not picking up the calls, that means they're going somewhere else. I promise you, I take that serious because I think when that constituent comes out of that, because we just went through a reappraisal, so you got people coming up going to the Board of Equalization for the appeals part. Yeah. I promise you, you're gonna have a problem with me.
Yes, sir.
And I've gotten so many, just kudos on, you're the only office who go far out and above. Now I'm telling you how I do that.
Yeah.
I invest in my employees.
Yes, sir.
I put them on what you call, when I got over there, they did in the school system called a career ladder. Yeah. Asked everybody what they want to do, gave them a pay incentive, and every holiday, football season, we do something in our parking lot. I do that for the employees.
Yes, sir.
So I invest in my employees.
You need to talk to my dad because he works.
You got to invest in your employees. Invest in your employees. They will do anything for you, and they will work more and beyond. Yes, so when you come in my office, they'll tell you.
So they'll tell you. You created a team from
I created an atmosphere.
Yes, sir.
When I got there, I didn't know much about the assessor work, but I knew about the employees because I've always been in leadership positions, even at the school board.
It just shows you how much I knew. I didn't know you'd have to invest in a call center to have actual.
Oh, no
equipment.
doubt. You need the data. You need the data, right? So, like for instance, when I become Shelby County mayor, I want the public defender to give me. I don't know where the data gonna come from, but they better work on it.
Yes, sir.
I want you to tell me what neighborhoods, where they are, the crime. I want to see all of that. Yes, I can't. Just like you in the restaurant business, when you do your inventory, it tells you how your sales are.
100%.
If I don't have that, how do I know to cut back, to go up on the product, to stop selling the product?
Yeah.
So if I don't got data in front of me, I can't make no decisions.
So I guess again. Have you heard of I don't know if you want to get into this, but you've heard of companies like Palantir. Would you be thinking of taking them on?
I've never heard of that before.
Palantir is a government, like a quasi-government. It's sponsored by Peter Thiel. It is a stock you can purchase on the stock exchange, and its whole premise is that it will be able to cross-reference your data from the IRS to the Department of Defense to anything in the healthcare sector, anything like that.
Man, I would have to look. I'm not too familiar.
Okay, then
it's kind of like AI. A lot of people on the opposing side say it's kind of Big Brother. They know everything about you. On the other side, it helps them cross-link things, like if your taxes don't add up to your income to your house.
I get you.
Yeah, and then for what you were saying, if you're actually looking at a fine, like what a fine-tooth or a
fine-tooth comb.
To fine tooth, nice. English is my second language. I'm sorry, but it's just having all the tools available for you, and the fact that we also have such a robust AI system here now too. It's just, I don't know, that's what I mean. Like having somebody at you in charge who's actually driven and focused, and you take your time out to look at the call data. That's unheard of.
I mean, I of course working for the district as the chief auditor for 30 years. I never understand why governments don't invest in IT.
Yes, sir.
They do not invest in IT the way they should.
I believe that was the biggest expenditure, right, for the city of Memphis. Exactly. They had a ransomware attack.
Exactly. Because my thing is, if you go to an IT department and no, I know you're 30 years old, but that's kind of old being in an IT office for the most part.
Right.
But if you go in an IT office and you see government are used to holding on to employees to the 40, 50 years. I have people right now in my office right now, been there 20 plus years, can walk out. I got 32 people can walk out right now for retirement, at least 30 people. Yes, sir. Because in government, it's prolonged. Yes, sir. It's a prolonged, but we got to think about now government kind of pivoting, because now we finna hit some hard times with this Trump thing. Yes, sir. It's not going to be the same. The revenues are finna be different. Well, it might be a little better for us because we're a red state, Tennessee, and the governor. But for the most part, you got to pivot. We're going to pivot to doing some new ideas because the flow of the funding is going to be different. Yes, right? Sir. I think like right now, I think this committee meeting today, the mayor was talking about, I think they got a $20 million deficit, right? So he talking about cutting the grant monies out, just cutting stuff out. Yeah. So that's something you should know way before now. It's just being revealed now. Because when I become mayor, everybody can know the budget. I don't care if you're HR director, you're going to know about the budget. You should know that budget. Yes, sir. So you're going to be like Thomas Massey. Oh, no, you're going to know you should know your budget. Yes, sir. Everybody's budget. That's how it works. No, I mean, you talk about a team. Like if you don't know the actual, what you're making or what's going on, what's the point of where you're working? You're just working blindly. It's time to go to work. You got to go to work.
If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business.
You don't know your business. It's just that simple. That's why.
I come in over the top.
Yep, I appreciate it.
So it's all about just going to work, getting the right people, put your sleeves up, and they did that for me. I can really say I really appreciate my employees at the assessor's office because again, like I said earlier, I was the assessor of the year for the entire state. assessor of the year for West Tennessee, and my office got the best as far as operations and compliance. And that's never been done before because I took the time and I invested in my employees and I got the best out of them. And when I tell people when they come to my office, the young people, I got a program now for young people who want to be appraisers.
Yes, sir.
Right. I teach the classes in-house now. You ain't got to go to the state to get certifications because different appraisers have different techniques. Like
Yes, sir.
an appraiser off the street can't go in there and do an appraisal on the FedEx form, which my office did for the mayor.
Also, side question: when do you sleep? You sound like you're always working.
I can't really sleep now because of this campaign.
No, but you're doing a lot.
It's a lot.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot, but that's what I've been reading this book called Jesus in Politics.
Yes, sir.
So I'm a deacon at my church, and I'm just gonna do what Jesus did when he went to the different cities or different townships, and he saw there was inequities.
Yes,
and
sir.
he said, "No, this is not going to happen. I'm going to be that voice
Yes,
for the
sir.
people who are not just getting provided just the regular resources to make it.
Yes, sir.
Just the regular. Like I know I'm not going to hit everybody, but they're going to be there.
That's really comforting to hear because it's like
they're going to be there. They're going to be there.
Especially if
people
you're taking Christ like Christ-like
telling you,
leadership.
yeah.
I guess you can't go wrong.
That's how my campaign
is.
is. I talked to a pastor today at a breakfast. That's what I'm. Mine's going. It's going to be a spiritual movement for me.
Yes, sir.
To the people who are crying, say, look, we need help.
Yes, sir.
My kids need help. We have no place to stay. We have no food.
Yes, sir.
But we need more supplies. So my office is steady collecting supplies. So we got our information out there. If you need more supplies for the school year, please let us know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, it's. You must be just inundated with stories all day. So
Yes, Lord.
And that's how do you keep your spirit up? Like it's.
Well, Jesus is in control.
Yes, sir.
And, he leads the way. And, no matter what goes on, the stuff with Trump or whatever, I still know man is not in charge.
Yes, sir.
So, things happen for a reason. But the unfortunate thing is people are going to suffer for this. We all like the war.
Yeah.
Look at the war that's going on. I look on TV, look at over in Gaza, and you see little kids. Oh, my God.
Yes, sir.
So people are going to suffer. And that's what happens,
Yeah.
In crisis like this. But what we got to do is, in Shelby County, we got to remain strong and we got to put things in place and roll our sleeves up because, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Because we're up in a different administration
We are.
at the federal level.
Yes, sir.
You remind me a lot of a John LaGuardia quote that there's no there's no Republican or Democratic way to clean up a street.
It's not. Jimmy, what got me there for my mom stayed on Mud Island, Harbor Town before she passed. She came back to Memphis after 40 years in Denver. Thank God I grew up in Denver because of the exposure I got. I lived in a Jewish community in Denver, Colorado, right?
Yes,
and when I was in high school, we did school, we go skiing, go to Breckenridge, go to Aspen, go to Loveland, all the above.
Yeah.
So the life was a little different, and I was exposed. It was called exposure.
Yes, sir.
So I was exposed to
That's awesome,
things
by
that I
the way.
would
That's
never,
awesome.
that I would never have done.
Yeah.
So when I come here, I can talk to anybody. I don't have to be in a special room. But the best experience I ever had when my dad and Harold Ford Jr.'s dad were best of friends. And when I went to DNC with Harold Jr. the first year, that opened up my eyes of just what he was surrounded and the different people. We all the same, but it was. I saw a different culture of black folks.
Yes, sir.
You ever seen them? You seen the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah.
How they act?
Yeah.
I was actually around black people like that.
Yeah.
It's out there like that.
Yeah.
It's just a different culture. It's different.
But that's the thing. That's
different.
Yes, sir. It
It's different.
it doesn't matter like what your skin color,
Doesn't
whatever.
matter.
It's the culture
It
itself
doesn't
that
matter.
you grew up in.
It does not matter. But until we figure that out, but you got to have a leader.
Yeah.
Shelby County has no leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys that's running in this race, it's the same status quo. Same status quo.
Take credit from other people, keep it rolling, put on
And
your
say what, like me coming saying what you want to hear.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm not
sir.
gonna
The
do
fact that
that.
you even came, I appreciate that. It's just
No,
like,
but I got nervous. I got nervous because I was like, man, what's his name? But guess what? I put you in my phone as Indian Palace.
I didn't.
Because I couldn't remember your name.
No. I don't blame you. And then on top of
I sure
that,
got it.
It's the way this worked out too. I appreciate you. This was awesome. But it just comes back to the leaders that we have right now, especially in Shelby County. To me, I couldn't even tell you that person's name. I couldn't even tell you who that person is. Not that I'm trying to say anything about them, but it's just you seem to actually have a personality and a heart.
Yeah.
About what you're doing.
And you know what? And the difference also when I came up as the county commission, right? It was 2010.
Yes, sir.
So when I ran in 2010, I could go to people like Walter Bailey, Julian Bolton, Vasco Smith. These were guys who were on the commission for years. They called them squires back in the day. They were really the minority because it was mostly white, right? So and I went to the Cleo Kirks. So back then you could go to those guys, hey, what you think? Tell me what you think. But guess what now? You ain't got that anymore. These people can't go. These people now get up, I'm gonna run for office.
Yeah.
Not even knowing about the office. I talked to a guy who's running for an office. I said, hey, look, man, I said, look, tell me how much the county budget is. I said, wait a minute.
If the answer's not the exact number immediately, what are we doing here?
Okay. And I don't know, I don't know if we're missing that governance of how we were taught or what we have missed. It's like with teachers.
You have civic duty. You actually have civic duty. I think people of our generation who just say, oh, I'm going to become a leader today. It's to them, it is like we were saying earlier, it's just something you can put on your profile, your Instagram, Facebook. I'm the mayor of Tennessee. Look at me. Like that's, it's not you getting to know, not you raising your team and making the atmosphere. This is somebody who just wants to come in just for the accolades and then walk out of there too and blame somebody else on the way out.
So we do for the summertime, we have, the county has a program where kids in the summertime come and work in your office.
Yes, sir.
They like coming to my office, right? I had about 20 kids this year. So, their office is pretty much like a big conference. Let's say a IT room, computers, all the above.
Yes, sir.
In there, I had a voting machine. In there, my assistant taught them the issues.
Yes, sir.
And they had to come back and tell us issues. Even though they were doing assessment work, but they also had to know about governance.
Yes,
so
sir.
I taught that also.
Yes, sir.
So you got to, give back where you can. Like I mentor at KIPP Academy Mace.
Yes,
I
sir.
mentor young men over those two academies. And of course, I've gotten up in the middle of the night and gotten kids out of jail, put their bond up. Now, if you for murder, I can't help you. But, things that I know I can help you with.
Yeah.
Because some of them got families. They had jobs. So I'm on that end of the track too.
And it's just sometimes you just make a mistake. Sometimes it is just a mistake.
They're kids.
Yeah.
They're kids.
And it's just nice having somebody who actually just not going to judge you for it, not going to berate you, but still let you give you a helping hand. Like this is not the end of the world where we can't do that again.
I just want to see everybody happy,
Yeah.
with the same resources that I was blessed because my parents, dad's a policeman, mom was one of the superintendents in Denver, and my dad made to the top, and and we were, but you share what you learn to other people who may not be as fortunate as you are.
Yes, sir.
Or how you can lift them up.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we have to. We have to lift people up, and not, tear them down or think you better than they are, because we're not.
Well, I mean, with the current administration, the current policies, it's not really about building. It doesn't really feel like that anymore.
Where we won't grow. Downtown would not be the downtown that everybody wants. Because if you think about it, when there's a Grizzlies game or when there's a Redbirds game, East Memphis will come down. They'll probably come down Friday. A lot of them probably have got houses down. They got play homes down there.
Yeah.
But the majority of them, they'll come early on a Friday, and they'll drink, eat. Then guess what? Boom, they're going back.
Yeah.
They're going back to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, across the bridge.
Okay.
Yep.
They're gone. So, we have to figure out, who we are. And I think if we embrace our culture, I think that's something that we could do a lot better job of who we are.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what nobody go. You talk about Memphis, man, you from Memphis, they be all blah, blah. Man, Memphis is not good barbecue. And then you ask somebody on the street about Memphis, it's a totally different story.
100%.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
It's totally a different story.
It 100%
and
does.
even if you're watching television, I don't care what TV you watch.
Yeah.
Did he say Memphis? Did he say
that's
Memphis?
Did
he say Memphis?
Or 901 or you see something like that.
People say, man, take me get some ribs, some good fish, blah, 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 blah,
Or
blah.
Graceland or like Elvis. It's like how many times I've never.
Yeah.
I mean, long live the king, but it's
But
just
then you ask one of us about Memphis. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll hear about it all day.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What I've heard is you say urgency, accountability, making data-backed decisions. That's not a lot of things that I hear from a lot of Memphis politicians.
So they really call it like a data dashboard. And I'm going to tell you the reason really the school system, I think that's where some of the issues the school system had, because let's say it's Brijesh, let's say he lives here. Let's say he's like third grade. Well, for some reason, he had to move to another location, right? So during that time, a lot of the kids in our system, right, they are transit. So they move from place to place to place to place, right? So you don't have good records to say, okay, let's see what... Okay, well, guess what? Okay, Jimmy came from over here,
Yeah.
but he's here now. So dog, I see where he's deficient in math. You don't have the information.
Yeah.
Because the kids are so transient. So when it's time to teach TCAP, guess what? I don't know what Jimmy's strong in because the data's not up to date. Data makes you make decisions as a leader.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right?
sir.
It makes that's how it works.
It's kind of surprising. I thought the school systems would already have.
It's not up to date.
Okay. Okay.
You know, it's strictly on. They got I think it's called SMS. Is what they use.
Yes, sir.
But it should come to you. When I went to Miami-Dade, man, I can't think of the superintendent's name, man. Man, that man had a big old bull. He would pull away. So I'm gonna tell you how many people came to work today. Let me see how many people didn't. I mean, he was sharp.
Yeah.
And you get Miami-Dade has over like 350,000 students.
Yes, sir.
And it's one of the top school systems in the country.
Yes, sir.
With them many students.
Yes, sir.
Because it has accountability chief. Those kind of folks.
No, that's like just smart leadership. Is what it sounds like to me.
That's all it is. And see what everybody else is doing. I charge my people, go to Houston and see how they doing their assessments.
Gotcha.
To make you better. Now, some of them ain't going to change.
Yeah.
Because they've been there 100 years. They're not going to change. And I try not to break the floor because sometimes you might need a little bit of that because they've been there a long time, the experience.
Yes, sir.
You don't want to just, it's like taking a seasoned quarterback knowing you might need him in a big game.
Yeah.
And guess what? You can let him go.
Yeah, that's true.
So you got to keep him around,
Yeah.
That
But
kind of
it makes sense. It sounds like, again, you're a balanced individual
Yeah.
is what it sounds like to me.
You're very motivating to listen to. What do you tell your team when you need to motivate them to do something or get them on your side or become innovative? Because there's one thing to say, be innovative.
So what I do, I said, no matter what job you take in my office, no matter what job you take, I said, I'm going to offer professional development, and I want you to be better. I said, when you leave here, you can go and work anywhere you want to work, but you can say, you know what? The assessor gave me the tools and the resource for me to be better. You can work in my office all your life.
Yes, sir.
I don't want you to. I want you to be better. I want you to be better in whatever you do, right? So, and I provide them with the resources, and of course, everybody don't bite on the apple because you know how that works. But for the majority of them, I sat down and Jimmy and spoke to 150 employees. It took me about a couple of months to ask them, "Tell me what you want to do. Tell me what you want to do." And I had about 3 questions. It let me know it's a big family.
Yeah.
But the one problem they had was they said there's no advancement. I want to do something different. So I took the ones who said they want to be appraisers or someone want to do that. And what I did was I hired what you call a talent coach. So let's say when I got there, Jimmy, you were working in bookkeeping. You said, "No, I'm tired of bookkeeping. I want to be an appraisal." I said, "Come on." Right? So now I got you on the appraisal track. So I'm going to give you all the classes. I'm paying for the classes. And I got a person who's going to track your class because I'm saying, now, wait a minute, Jimmy, you ain't passing this test. Now, something ain't right. I'm going to stop investing in you. But my talent coach is going to teach me, what can I do to make you better pass those tests? If you can't pass them tests, something's not right. And even when you interview, like I don't hire outside. So I bring you in as a temp in the call center where you answer the phone, and then you apply for different around the office. But if you don't get it, I'm gonna tell you why you didn't get it. We tell you why you didn't get it, and maybe next time you get it. But I don't go outside. Everybody's built inside the organization.
So what makes you this patient?
Huh?
That's a lot of patience to have. Like why?
Patience is a virtue. I'm old.
Well, I mean, still,
you got to have patience.
Yes, sir. But that's you don't want the grass to grow right overnight. You're letting it take root.
You got to take people where they are.
Yes, sir.
You got some people who just not that advanced and they have to catch up.
Yes, sir.
I got a guy with him, man. He's so smart. He's a genius. And it's like, won't nobody ever get to his level, but guess what? He teaches the classes.
Yeah.
So you
giving back what you said.
So I ain't got to go to the state to pay the state to come here. I got somebody teaching my class in-house.
There we go.
In-house. Everything's done in-house.
That's a very good leadership mentality because once you let it go or you take it out of house, then you lose some of the control and the quality.
Exactly.
God, yeah, and that's you have a dynamic team. It sounds like to me.
Man, I'm gonna miss them. I'll be gone this time on my way out this time next year. But for the most part, wherever I go, I feel that I made a difference.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna go nowhere if I feel I can't make a difference.
Yes, sir.
In people's lives. I see people on the street. They say, "Oh man, I sure appreciate it." I don't even remember them for the most part. I don't even remember what I did. But I try to do what I can to help people.
And I guess
wherever I can.
Another random. What's your favorite verse from the Bible, if you don't mind me asking?
You do one question, I'll do one question,
Okay,
and then we'll wrap.
Yeah.
The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want.
Yes, sir.
That's my favorite verse.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. I've got a bit of an off-topic question. Brijesh and I have talked about this because I said, "Do you know who this is?" when he's coming on, and I showed him like my tax appraisal and stuff. I can't help but notice that you have dropped the mustache.
I've dropped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel this is how I feel, right? I always feel that the more hair on my face makes me feel older, and it gives me an older look because I've always had like a baby face, like a little boy face. So I just try to keep my mustache down a little bit. I don't let it grow too far, So.
As one baby face to the other, you have.
Yeah, you got a baby face too.
I do have a baby face.
But you're like younger than me. See, I got.
That's why I got the beard.
But it don't matter with you because you young. So I try to keep that that like the boyish look. Yeah. Even though I'm 62, I'll be 63 next year. Next week, September 8th.
Okay, that's impressive. You don't look 62.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, Melvin, we really appreciate you coming on. This has been amazing, and we'll look forward. Do you have any socials or anything you'd like to plug to put on here? Like where they can find your campaign and whatnot?
Or if you want to tell us later, we can always still plug it in.
We'll have them play like a banner on
so my website is Melvin Burgess for 901.com.
Yes, sir.
And we're steady, building our platform. If you, of course, you want to donate, you can donate. It's a donate or volunteer. We got a link on for that. And I just want to thank you all. And I'm glad I connected, and I apologize for my people not getting back with you. But you got my cell number from here on out.
Yes,
there we go.
Jim, you got my cell number?
Yes.
So y'all got my cell. Call me direct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I'm going to answer it because what I would like to do down the road is kind of pick y'all's brain because I feel with this new team I'm trying to put together, I use y'all. I need y'all's help.
Yes, sir.
I've got an idea for you that I'll pitch, and we can keep it in or take it out.
Okay.
I think a really good thing for you to do would be to do a Reddit Ask Me Anything. So you go onto Reddit, the social media.
Oh, that's nice.
They get to send you a question, and you don't have to respond to it on the spot like a debate or an interview.
That's a good
idea. You get
idea.
to think about the interview, and you get to put it back. And Reddit's one of the fastest growing social media platforms online.
And matter of fact, my comms team met tonight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect you with, his name is Jeremy Simpson.
Oh, okay.
He pretty much run my comms team. I like that idea because I want to hear from the people. Because when
we'll get a lot of crazy people in there too, but
that's okay.
I think there's 300,000 active viewers for the Memphis thread. So,
that's fine.
And they're very active, and they'll tell you like it is. Like if they have
that's what I want to hear. I mean, not on the radio, but I can get down to.
All right. Well, we really appreciate it, Melvin. And,
thank you, Jimmy.
This has been great.
Thank you, guys.
This
I
has been
appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Lucky Lotus FM podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week.
And hey, Mr. Melvin Burgess, you got this.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Signing out. Y'all have a
Thanks
great
for the
night.
confidence.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.
I appreciate you.
I'm glad we connected. Thank you. This is my first